What's good, what is good, my sizers? We're back again with another video, and today we are going over the worst buffet I've ever been to in Las Vegas. Let's get into it. It's called the Imperial Buffet, and it is located inside of Chinatown off of Spring Mountain, and they are open from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily. Lunch is served from 11 a.m. to 2:50 p.m., and dinner is served from 3 to 10. Now, first, I'll be showing off the foods and what they have to offer, and my review will start around 3 minutes and 30 seconds if you want to jump to that. Now, before I get into anything, I would just like to say that their customer service is phenomenal. The hostess was so polite and provided me with a lot of information. The servers were on top of the refills and clearing the tables. Now, if you see something that you want, but the dish is empty, you can ask them to refill it, and they will. Something I found pretty interesting was the fact that their children prices are for those who are 11 years and younger, plus it varies by height. So 5 foot is $12.99, 4 foot is $8.99, and 3 foot is free. And I think that's such a great idea, but also, I want in on it. I'm only 5 foot after all. Now, they actually have quite a wide variety, but they serve raw oysters, lobster, snow crab, sushimi, Dungeness crab, and they also have a hibachi station, which I thought was really cool because I've never seen that at a buffet. So while I was at this buffet, everything smelled really appetizing, and they had told me that I had come at a perfect time because I came in between the lunch and the dinner, so they were switching everything out and making everything fresh. Now keep this in mind later for my review because that's very important. They made everything fresh. So if you're new to my channel, about a year ago I did a video about how I thought the Bacchanal buffet inside of the Caesars Palace was the worst buffet and the worst bang for your buck. This buffet is worse than that. I would prefer the Bacchanal buffet any given day over this buffet. It was... I can't even put it into words, my experience. I was so disappointed though. Also, another thing I found interesting about this buffet is that they didn't have a salad station. They had soups, fruit, and of course your dessert station, but there was no salad, and I'm not a salad eater, but I did find that a bit interesting. Also, this buffet had such a nice ambience to it. They had pop music playing from the 90s, and it was just such a vibe. It was never too crowded or too loud, and you can actually hear your thoughts and hear the people at your table talking. So it was a really nice buffet in terms of ambience and customer service. It was great. No complaints there. The hostess also explained to me how a lot of people didn't seem to understand the hibachi station. You're supposed to take 2 of the same colored clips. One goes on your plate and one you take to the table, and then when they're done cooking your food, they will bring it to your table. So keep that in mind when you come to this buffet, that the only raw food that should be on your plate is the sushi and the sashimi. Okay, let me just specify real quick before we get into this review that I am Italian, and so for every Christmas Eve, my family and I will cook a bunch of seafood dishes. Therefore, I know what the texture of most seafood dishes are supposed to be like, and I know what the texture of overcooked seafood is and undercooked seafood is. So with that being said, let's get into this review. Brace yourselves. This is my first plate. So I'm also part Asian, and my favorite dish that my parents make are short ribs, and I was so excited that a buffet actually had short ribs because it smelled absolutely amazing. And that was my face when my mother told me that the hostess said that they switched owners and they're trying to improve their flavors. However, this was freaking amazing. This was my favorite thing out of the entire buffet. That right there is a happy dance. I am a happy dance girl when I have good food. Okay, here's the thing. I'll eat it as long as it's not staring at me. I can't do anything that's staring at me, especially when it's shrimp and I have to deshell it myself and stuff. So typically my family and I will get the ones that are just already beheaded, and then we clean the bodies and stuff. So I honestly had no idea what to do. And so I asked my mom, and she said I had to pop the head off. And that was my reaction because that just seems very cruel, and I don't like that. I prefer when it's already beheaded by the time it gets to me. So I actually really struggled getting the stick out of the shrimp's rear, and I thought that was going to be the hardest part about this shrimp, but this next clip I actually sped it up ×4. And for anyone who deals with seafood should know that it should not take this long or be this difficult to deshell a fish. Also, once you pop the head off of a shrimp, it should just slide out of its shell So the fact that it wasn't was very concerning to me. When my family and I cook shrimp, we clean the entire thing, including like its inside trail, whatever you want to call that. And I know restaurants don't do that, but when I see it, it genuinely grosses me out. I was so sad when the shrimp was overcooked. I could tell after I deshelled it by touching it. But yeah, it was definitely overcooked. I figured maybe it was a bad piece of shrimp, so I tried a different one altogether, and as I was deshelling it, its eyeball popped out at me, and I freaked out because, like I said, I don't like it when my food looks at me, let alone when its eyeball is chilling on my arm. So I didn't know how to continue after that because I could already tell that the shrimp was overcooked for that one too, so it wasn't like a bad batch. Even though it was overcooked, it was still very flavorful. It just really sucks that it was overcooked. If it was cooked properly, it would be 10 out of 10 because it was super good. That is not a happy dance though, they just had really good music playing. I really wanted to try one of their sushi rolls because I am a really big fan of sushi. However, I never know how to eat it, and my mouth is pretty small, so I don't know why, but I always end up taking like humongous bites. And my mom doesn't necessarily love that, and she usually makes fun of me, but like I get it because I look stupid. I really enjoyed their sushi though. My absolute favorite seafood to deal with and to eat is crab. I am really good at cracking it and being able to keep it all in one piece, and typically it'll just slide out, and that's how you know it's like perfectly cooked. Sometimes it'll get stuck and it's still cooked a-okay, but unfortunately the crab was overcooked as well, and this is me crying in crab because I was so excited for this crab and it is also overcooked. So that was very disappointing. Just like the shrimp, I tried to give the crab a second chance because sometimes there is a bad batch of crab or like that one piece that's just not good. But again, it was just overcooked, and seafood is just too expensive to be overcooking it. So like I was just very disappointed. So this is me trying their lobster claw. My family also makes lobster, however, we make the entire lobster, not just like pieces of the lobster. But that was a shell that flew out of my mouth. So I was already a bit disappointed. But I don't eat lobster, so I didn't know if I was even eating this correctly because I wasn't getting any meat. And I just didn't know what to do because I just kept hitting shell. So my mom ended up giving me her piece of lobster claw, and she basically did all the work for me. All I had to do was like flip it over, and there was all of the meat that I'm about to show you. And I'm pretty sure this is my first time eating lobster meat, so I was very excited. However, as you guys guessed, it was also overcooked. So this is me crying in crab again because it's overcooked. So my mom really wanted me to try the honey walnut shrimp. She absolutely loves this dish. I was just overwhelmed by the size of the shrimp. It was huge. It was literally bigger than my eyeball, and it was super thick. I've never had honey walnut shrimp before, and my mom was shocked because this is her favorite dish, like I said, and it hasn't dawned on me until right now that I haven't had it because I'm allergic to walnuts. I did not like the texture though. It felt slimy and it was very thick. And I also get jaw pains, and it was kind of hurting my jaw, but I think that was because I took too big of a bite, and so I was like asking her what do I do because it's very thick and I can't enjoy it because it's just too much in my mouth. It's too much going on. And she told me to cut it in half, and so I asked her which way, and she said whichever way fits, and I can't with her sarcasm. This next dish, I really like its presentation. It was super cute. However, it was not good. It was also overcooked. It was very tough. It was chewy. It was just not good for my texture taste buds. So in between each dish, I tried to take a sip of my soda to like kind of cleanse my palate. But for this one, I just took a bite of sushi, and like I said, don't know how to eat sushi like a normal human being. So I take really big bites. However, their sushi was really good. Not gonna lie, I'm not great at making expressions, especially when I'm eating, but my mom told me to smile, and there was too much food in my mouth, so there you guys go. There's an expression for you. I am a really big fan of clams, and I will always get clams no matter where I'm at a buffet. I will always try their clams. However, I forget that people cook their clams with jalapenos because my family and I do not do that. But I really liked their clams. And then the heat started to kick in, and I literally tell my mom that you could tell it was cooked with jalapenos, and I didn't expect the heat to kick in, and then it did, and I didn't know what to do. It was super hot. I'm not used to jalapeno heat. I don't typically eat jalapenos in my free time, but yeah, it was a bit of an experience, to say the least. But the clams, really good otherwise. Now, the last thing that I tried at this buffet was their New England clam chowder because it is one of my favorite soups ever. I was trying so hard to show you guys without spilling it because the way that my phone was located, it was just a little too risky. However, this was really good. It was hot to the touch. I really enjoyed it. Do I think this buffet is worth the bang for its buck? Absolutely not. I would say save your money. However, that is just my opinion. But with that being said, that is all I have for you guys for today. So if you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below if you guys have ever eaten here. And be sure to smash that subscribe button down there while you're at it. Toodles!